Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with my post-fight analysis for Katie Taylor versus Delfine Persoon 2, the rematch. A lot of people this time, once again, they felt like Katie Taylor won a controversial decision, but if you remember how I felt about the first fight, like I said, I felt Delfine, she did enough to win the first time. The first go-round, I felt like she was, just this dog that Katie Taylor wasn't used to. She was in her chest for 10 rounds, just about for 2 minutes every round. She was really putting it on Katie Taylor. Katie was really having to work in that fight, and there were times that Delfine hit her with some hard shots and had her hurt. But this go round, I feel like this one wasn't as controversial. I feel like it was an ugly fight again for Katie Taylor, and she really had to work. And I really feel like she had to work for this win. I think that Katie did enough to win this fight. As far as just looking at the punch output, the punch accuracy, I think that Katie really did what she needed to do against a pressure fighter this go round. She made improvements, but I didn't really see that many improvements in Delfine this time. Like, if anything, I saw a lack of what she did in the first fight. I think that Delfine actually didn't really make any improvements to go back and say, okay, this is what I need to do this time. Instead, she tried too hard to do what she did the first time and actually lacked in some of the things she did first go round that really hurt Katie Taylor. Like, there was times in the first fight where she was being so physical, but she was throwing punches and landing good punches that, Katie didn't really know which way to turn as far as angles. But this go round, Katie Taylor, she had better head movement, still had to deal with a lot of pressure and a lot of physical pressure from Delfine, but she handled it well. She knew how to land shots in there to score and fight her way out of those exchanges. And at times she didn't really have to exchange. It really wasn't a toe-to-toe battle. It was just Delfine trying to ragdoll her and tie her up. There wasn't really any punches coming back from Delfine, and when they did come, they weren't really landing. It was mostly just her head and her body and weight that were exhausting Katie and making Katie Taylor work. Because other than that, Katie was landing the better shots. She was landing the better jab, the left hook to the head, the body work. I mean, if you just go back and look at the fight, first half of the fight, I'm not going to lie, Katie really had to work for this fight, but I gave her the first 5 rounds. You can call me crazy, but I gave Katie hands down the first 5 rounds, but she had to go through hell to get those first 5 rounds. I mean, first round, she showed you how to box and move around the pressure fighter right off top. She was jabbing and moving. Persoon came forward, applying a lot of pressure, but she was missing a lot of shots too. Here and there she would, land a few shots, but like the long jab, but Katie was really measuring better and she was getting out of range. She was timing Persoon, kind of like Floyd was doing against Ricky Hatton. And that's where you saw that in the second round, wherever Persoon stepped in, Katie landed a big left hook that put that swelling on the right side of Persoon's face. You could see her already swelling from that one big left hook, and then she followed up with a couple more shots and started moving again. Moving, every now and then Persoon would come in and kind of put that pressure on her, but Taylor was still landing the better shots. Third round, she was landing the better body shots, trying to wear Persoon down, but Persoon started landing her right hand more here as, Katie slowed down, but still it was a Taylor round. Persoon was slowly catching up in the fourth and fifth round, but Taylor was still boxing. It was still a dogfight, but the crisper punches were coming from Persoon. Persoon, I think that the way she comes forward, sometimes she's punching while she's stepping. That's not a good idea. I think she needs to stalk more, find her range, and fire off core punches. She needs to really fire off a shotgun jab versus just coming in there like a swarmer. She has the long reach. She's able to catch Katie Taylor. She's able to catch up to her when she gets her into that corner. She needs to stalk more, feint with the jab, come over the top with the right hand, and be more methodical. I mean, Mike Tyson, she likes to come in there, with that head movement and head bobbing style. Go look at Joe Frazier. So she really needs to be more so methodical with it. Even Golovkin, she has that long reach like Golovkin, so she needs to be more so in a position to throw that heavy power jab to really knock Katie Taylor back instead of just throwing swarming punches. So, that first half, I think that Persoon was being physical, giving Katie hell, but it was still Katie's boxing that won her that first half of the fight. Now, tables definitely turned in that that second half. Persoon, she started catching up here whenever Katie slowed down. When Katie started staying in the pocket more, I'd have to say 6, 7, and 8 went to Persoon, because I feel like here she started landing more. You know, she started catching Katie with those jabs and right hands. She was being a little bit more effective here in these rounds because Katie was backing straight up, and when she stopped, or when she was just back straight up and slow down, that long jab of Persoon was touching. And this is what I'm saying, like, Persoon has such a long jab and she could get power off, but she's so like antsy to let her hands go and just kind of wrestle Katie. You know, she needs to like tie up with one hand and hit to the body more instead of just kind of wrestling and, you know, lobbing right hands. So there's a time when she's lobbing the right hand, she's missing by a long shot. But like those next 3 rounds, she landed enough to really tire Katie out and start to really catch up to her. But when we went to those championship rounds, I say Taylor, she started picking it up again. When Persoon got a little tired in round 9, I say Taylor started picking her shots more. She started landing the better punches again. Persoon was still trying to maul, but the better accurate shots and punches in general were coming from Katie Taylor. You know, it was still a lot of mauling that Katie had to get through, but she's still landing punches, which still matters. I mean, you can maul all day, but if another fighter's landing punches and marking you up, I'm going with that fighter. Last round, that last championship round, I gave to Persoon. I feel like she started, again, dogging Katie here because Katie was exhausted. You could hear in the corner, Katie was breathing hard. Both fighters were breathing hard, but you could really hear Katie breathing hard like she was working. But that last round, whenever Persoon got in close, you know, Taylor started landing some good solid shots, but the dog was really in Persoon. Here's where she was really trying to close the show, land harder shots, and really dog Katie out. But another hard physical fight for Katie Taylor, but I feel like she really did make the adjustments this go round as much as she could against this type of pressure dog. You know, she was really moving her head too. If you look in the first rounds when she steps back, you know, she's moving her head and playing that matador. You know, she's playing that matador at times as much as she can, and then she's coming back with body shots. So she's actually taking advantage of, you know, trying to find good places to hit Delfine Persoon. Where Persoon, I think she spent too much time trying to ragdoll Katie Taylor again and rough her up instead of just, you know, finding home for those long power shots. You know, she needed to get the long power shots off. But yeah, overall it was another good action-packed fight. I personally think it's 1-1, but you know, I think this is a close to a chapter. Katie Taylor's got it 2-0 now, and she can move on from here. But Delfine Persoon can't count her out, man. I think she's a good pressure fighter. I think she just needs to learn how to be more accurate with her shots. You know, more punch placement. You know, she needs to utilize her reach more and be more educated with her aggressiveness. You know, she needs to be more educated and be more of a stalker like Golovkin, and she could get more hard power shots off. But yeah, Katie definitely earned this fight. She went through hell to get this one, and like I said, this one wasn't as controversial as the first fight. I think Katie won the first half clearly. Persoon started catching up with her in the second half, but when we went to those championship rounds, I had to split them. So it was first 5 rounds for Katie, the next 3 for Persoon. I gave Katie round 9, and then I gave Persoon round 10. So what did I have that at? 1, 2, 3, 6 rounds to 4. 6 rounds to 4 for Katie Taylor. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Let me know in the comment section you think you won this fight, Katie Taylor or Delfine Persoon. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Peace.